I came here to Las Vegas in 1990 and came to this church that I'm at today, Trinity Life Center. And at the time, we were basically, well, we were the largest Assembly of God church in the valley. And it was a suburb type setting, and we had a very large Christian school. And by the turn of the century, 10 years later, the handwriting was pretty much on the wall that the demographics are really changing right here in our community. So just like Gorman, just like Faith Lutheran, both were about a mile and a half from us. They started looking, we started looking. If we're going to keep doing ministry the same way, we're going to have to head out to the suburbs because the city was growing so large, people were no longer going to drive in to our location, which is right down in the heart of the city. And so we went and looked and realized that we felt like the most expedient thing for us to do would be to stay right here in this area because there was going to be so many needs in this community, and we felt like it would be better for us to stay right here and figure out how can we revitalize this community. So that was what precipitated our decision to stay. And then we did lose the school, and now I'm facility rich. So what do? We talked very extensively about selling off some of our property that we had acquired. But right at that time, my oldest daughter, Brandy, she had a real heart for inner city kids. And so she went over to an area not far from here where the drugs are heavy. There were murders on that particular street, 2 or 3 streets, a lot of apartments, a lot of disadvantaged living in that area. And she started reaching the children. And all of a sudden, I told her, she was just doing it out in an alley. Matter of fact, she talked to the apartment manager and said, may I come and just, bless these kids, food, clothing, share hope with them. And the apartment manager said, we had a murder right at that spot last night. And my daughter said, well, then this is exactly where I need to be. And I was like, you said what? But that's where she ended up. And those were the kids that were really, really hurting. And then when I lost the school, I just told her, well, bring those children over to our building. We had a great big gym. Yeah. And so
this would have been about when?
2008. And that's kind of how the origin of it was, the Impact Center. Even though it was right, I was standing right there in 1997 looking out the window, and I just had this picture of, all I knew was one day we would have a medical clinic here on our campus, and that's all I knew. Had no idea how it was going to take place. But shortly after we brought the children in for the after-school program, we did acquire a medical clinic and then a food bank. And then we already had some apartments. They became low-income senior housing, urban garden. I mean, just what are the needs here in our area? We brought in a charter school for, again, these students are many times the very first ones to graduate in their families. And when we found that out, we decided we should start a night school for their parents to get high school equivalency, English as a second language. One of our real goals, it hasn't happened yet, but one of our goals is that a parent and a student will walk together to receive their degree because their entire family shows up at these graduations. So those are the kinds of things that just began to develop and became the City Impact Center.